morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Psycho, and it's time for Let's Play Train Simulator. Why am I on the build menu, and why am I looking at West Somerset Railway? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that there are 6 scenarios that we are going to be playing here in the next upcoming series here, and these are the 6 scenarios. One's numbered 1 to 6. I'm going to show you more about that, but in order to do that, because these were recorded some time ago, way back in the days of Train Simulator 2022, we're going to have to go to the past, where a less omniscient version of myself is not aware that I am throwing to him. So let's go ahead and throw to him, and he will explain to you everything that we're doing here as we get ready to introduce the West Somerset Railway. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our first heritage railway, our first real steam route. It's kind of a mix of steam and diesel, actually, because you're going to notice there are some diesel scenarios with the Class 33 here as well. Since we have a separate Class 33 DLC, good reason to introduce that. We can get the Class 33 DLC and the scenarios and route it's on at a later time. So I definitely want to get that diesel train unlocked, or I should say introduced, because I want to get all the diesel and electric especially in here in some way. There might be some steam that end up by the wayside, because I am not a fan of steam to the extent that I like driving diesels and electrics. But you know what? We're going to get some steam in here because we want to introduce the routes that use them and do some scenarios on them, because steam once in a while is not a bad thing. I'm just not sure about career form. But in any case, let's go ahead and get up to our first of these scenarios. You notice they range from 30 to 90 minutes. And it looks like this 90-minute scenario might be well, it has some shunting beforehand with a tight timetable to follow, but that's going to be a painful one. The good news is this is diesel one, so it's not going to be as bad for me. But these other ones are all steam. Like the number 3 and number 6 are steam. Everything below this, by the way, there's some 07 scenarios, the Class 7 shunter. 4 scenarios for that. That's the diesel shunter. We have some Class 14 scenarios. So these are DLC that I'm going to eventually introduce. We'll skip weary lines for now. We don't want that. But in any case, all these other trains are diesel. The 03 even has a scenario on here, which I don't know if that's the one that comes with the route or if that's something that I just downloaded and forgot about having on there. But no matter what happens, these are all scenarios that we are going to look at a later time because, hey, I have them. Why not, right? So at some point, we're going to unlock all of those. And the completion on all of those, we're going to try to complete them all, and we're going to put them on there just like any other route. Well, the only difference is that we got a few steam scenarios to go through here. Now, it looks like this summer spin scenario is a really, really hard scenario, so I'm going to be very curious about how that works. It also seems to also have some shunting, some important tasks. But let's go ahead and start with the West Somerset Railway 35-minute scenario with the GWR 6960 Ravingham Hall locomotive. And I'm going to bring up the manual and see what information I can give you about this train. I don't know if I actually have a guide to what all the functions are. Actually, I think I might. Let me just see here. Yes, I do have a modified hull guide here, so I am going to give you a quick look around the cab. We're going to look at what the different controls are. Then we're going to start driving this thing. So let's take a quick look at this train, shall we? And then we'll get started with the scenario. But in order to show you this train, I also have to go into the scenarios. Let's go ahead and get in there. Before we get going, let's go ahead and take a look at this train. We have some different things on a steam locomotive, and I didn't really show you the last train we drove because the Black 5 is just a bit of a simple train, but this is a little bit more involved. Tell you what, we're going to pause that because I actually want to show you this without having to worry about the train blowing up while I'm sitting here at the station. So let's go ahead and just look around everything on this train. First of all, windows are small. I think this is you start on this side, so I think this is supposed to be the driving side. This is supposed to be the second man side. I assume that's the case, but you would think that this would be the driving side because normally you would look at the track and the signal on this side. Maybe because of the type of railway it is, maybe that's not the case. I don't know. But we're gonna start on this side anyway because I do have the first controls I want to point out on this side. The first thing I want to show you is this thing right here, I believe. Oops. First thing I want to show you is this thing. This thing that says GWR in the middle, I believe. Let's actually change the view to this side. Might be a better view. Yeah, this is a better view. You see where Bishop Lydeard, by the way? So the first thing I'm going to show you is this panel over here, which is the boiler pressure gauge. So this will keep an eye on your boiler. This is, again, something that you use for the fireman purposes. He's going to take care of that as long as you have the automatic fireman on, so nothing to worry about. But that's what the gauge is. There's another gauge down here for the steam heat gauge. Again, same idea. Now, I'm going to move along a few other controls here. I'm not going in the order of the manual here. I'm just going to go along a few more controls as we go. So in this general area right about here, that horizontal or that vertical thing with the what looks like stripes in the middle, that's the water level. That shows you how much water is in the tank. So that's well, show you how much water you have. basic way to put it. Not really anything else to really say about that. Heading up to the top here, we're going to see more things up here. Now, this is a little bit... I think I better see this from the second-hand side, actually. Somewhere in this area, I believe this is the exhaust steam injector, this central thing right here. I believe that's what this is right here. And right next to that is the live steam injector, somewhere in this area in the middle of the screen right now. That's around where that live steam injector is. And the instrument light switch is actually up here in this general area somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm going to assume the letter I turns them on if we need them. I'm probably not going to need them because I don't really see a lot of things that need the instrument lights. So moving along from there, we're going to go all the way across to where number 4 is. Number 4 is in the manual points at this. This is the vacuum pressure dial. So the vacuum pressure dial, again, I believe this is for braking purposes. I think this shows you the, it says the train pipe reservoir, so I believe it is related to the brakes, just like you have the air brakes. You have pipes related to the air brakes, so I believe that's the same thing, just obviously the steam engine version. Below here we have a train brake. You know how that works. I don't need to show you that. That brings the train to a stop. Now, moving along in the cab here, let me go down to the very bottom here and continue from down here. Somewhere down here, I believe, on the floor, I can't really see them very well, but on the floor you might see the dampers down there. In fact, there they are. They're highlighted right now. So that's where the dampers are. I'm not a steam expert, so don't ask me about what those are, but I assume it's something to do with the fire. I think you can impact the fire by opening or closing those. Again, I'm not an expert. Don't ask me to be an expert on steam engines. I just drive them. The firebox itself is in this area as well, so if we're in the cab, we're going to notice this open once in a while. That's where the fire is with the coal. And we're going to rely on that to actually be able to, move. Without that, we can't really move. We need the steam to move. Now, I feel like I just passed something important here. I believe it is this, actually. I believe this is the... Hold on. What did it just say? Yeah, that's the reverser. That is correct. That is the reverser. The regulator should be next to it somewhere over here. I'm going to find it. Somewhere in this area is the reverser, or the regulator itself, and I'm just trying to find it right now, but the control seems to be hiding it. Oh, wait a minute, what's this? Oh, there's the regulator. That's the regulator right there. So the regulator obviously applies the, if you think of a diesel train where you have the gas, just by moving the thing back and forth to up to 100%, you can decide how much power you want to put into it. In this case, this releases steam in the engine, and the reverser allows you to control how much steam goes in. You want to have that at maximum to start, then eventually drop the reverser down to a minimal setting, put the full throttle on. You can go ahead and power that locomotive to whatever speed you want to have it within its design limitations, of course. Now moving along on the, I believe this section right here next to the reverser, or I should say next to the regulator, is where the whistle is located. So somewhere on this panel the whistle is. I don't know exactly where it is. We're going to blow that as we get going here. And further down, the cylinder drain cocks are somewhere on the floor. There is actually the reverser. We don't want the reverser right now. So the drain cocks for the cylinders are somewhere on the floor here. I'm not exactly sure where. I believe I'm... Oh, there it is. Got him. Got him. That's where it is. And the whistle's probably nearby, actually, now that I think about it. The whistle's got to be close to this. So somewhere in this area, somewhere down here the whistle is. I'm not sure, but we'll see when we get going. That's the majority of the controls. And there's not really much else to discuss. So let's restart the scenario. Let's go ahead and get ourselves going. I hear another steam train. I'm going to say that's a 7F.
Welcome to the West Somerset Railway. For your first duty, it's a simple run along the line to Williton to enjoy the view. Keep an eye on the speed limits, though. Steady as she goes.
What's with the memes? Let's go ahead and wait for our stop to complete. I will prepare, as we take a quick look at the train back here, we can't really see it yet, but as we wait for it up here, here she is. And that, I believe, is a 7F. 100% a 7F. So we're going to go ahead and lower our brakes. We're going to put the reverser up. I'm going to get those ready. I'm going to apply the regulator once our stop is completed. And our stop is completed. So on we go. My goal right now is to not get wheel slip as we get moving. Let's look at the outer cab as we get ourselves started. I can now go ahead and increase a little bit more. I want to get up to 15 as quick as I can. I'm going to have to hold it back. I need to try not to speed in this little segment here. I'm going to cut it back now. I'm going to apply the running brake while I'm at it. Okay, now I'm going to hold the reverser to neutral. And I'm going to actually put a minimal application of, okay, a little more. A little more, please. That'll do. That's a good enough start. Let's work with that for the time being. I'll move the reverser itself down. And I'll put the regulator back up. I should be able to work with that now. I see some black smoke, so hopefully the fireman's doing his part on that. I do have the auto fireman enabled because, you know, it's a separate job. I treat it as a separate job. I don't do two jobs at once. Some people like to suggest that I'm a noob for doing that. Sorry. They don't give us the role of being just a fireman. Otherwise, I'd be just a fireman and help another driver. So I'm going to do it as two separate jobs. There's no reason for me to have to do it unless I feel like taking on a challenge where the auto fireman doesn't do it properly. I probably won't. I might do it on a non-career scenario, but for career scenarios where I'm being scored, I'm just going to leave the auto fireman on. There's no reason to take it off. So we are leaving with 4,000 gallons of water and 7 tons, I believe that was, of fuel to start off. A little of that's now been burned. Working our way up to, yeah, remove that. I actually don't know why I kept that up, but you can see our first stop is Crowcombe Heathfield main platform. And if you're a little bit under the limit here, this will be a tight stop. So you want to make sure you maintain proper speed as you go. So I'm coming up to 23, 24 right now. I want to stay in the 24.5 to 25 range. I don't want to exceed 25 by too much, even within the mile. Just because I know sometimes the gradients will catch you off guard on a route like this. So now I'm going to put the... I did not mean to take the regulator down to 0, so I'm going to go ahead and keep the regulator on right now. We have plenty of steam, plenty of coal for this drive, so I can maintain regulator without having to worry about speed. I don't have to necessarily salvage this one. So we're 24.5 right now, which is fine. 24.6 to be exact. We're going to keep our eyes on the curves up ahead, because that's how we're going to see the signals coming up here. Come around the next curve now. Now this is the side of the train where you actually see the so-called whistle boards. It actually says the full word whistle when you come upon one of those whistle boards. So it definitely does mean whistle. There's no ambiguity as to what it means. We're now on a 1 in 100 and something gradient. It seems to keep changing until we settle onto a fixed number here. And right now the speed on the train is for some reason increasing. I'm removing the regulator completely for a moment. And letting it come back down. Then I'm going to go ahead and reapply the regulator to try to maintain speed around 25. There it is. And now I'm increasing, so I don't want to do that. So now on a 1 in 80 gradient. We're going to chug our way up this 1 in 80 gradient. At 25, it shouldn't be too bad. At a higher speed, it might be a little more difficult. Our fireman will catch up and give us some better looking smoke here. And less of it, apparently, but now it's coming out in a chunk again. So while I chug along here, let's go ahead and take a look at more information about this train, shall we? I'm going to try and keep it on the signals too. I'm not going to really worry about the whistle boards. And anyway, in case, the origins of the Hall class, which we're driving, began in 1922 with Chief Engineer C.B. Collett producing a 4-64-0 to replace the Mogul 43XX class, the 4300s. Production began in 1928, and it became a landmark in that from inception it was designed as a mixed traffic locomotive. To this point, it was not believed that a locomotive could work, or an engine could work both passenger and freight. It was considered they had to be separate way back then, but this changed that theory, and it paved the way for mixed traffic locomotives. In 1944, F.W. Hawksworth developed the Hall class further by adding modifications to the frames, saddle, cylinders, and boiler. These changes evolved the Hall into 6959 or modified Hall 6960. That's the one that we have. Withdrawals began in April of 1959 when 4900 was condemned from Old Oak Common Shed. The last was withdrawn in December 1965. 11 of the Hall locomotives and 7 of the modified halls, including 6960, survived into preservation. So we are definitely driving a preserved train because we're on a preserved railway route, which makes perfect preserved sense. We're maintaining 24.6 miles per hour right now, a good speed to maintain at this time. We are still scheduled to be right on time at Crowcombe Heathfield main platform. We'll talk about the design and specification details of the train on the next slide. So these first three scenarios, I'm going to talk to you about the trains themselves. On a future scenario, one of the three, I'll figure out which one as we go. It might be the diesel one because it's the longest one. But at some point in the future, we are going to talk about the route itself. We have the entire route, and I'm going to go over more details about what everything is on the route. For right now, we're just going to enjoy the route, enjoy the scenery, which, again, mostly trees you can see, and bridges, and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and enjoy this. Now, it is also worth noting that the West Somerset Railway also exists in Train Sim World 2, so if you want a better graphical representation, I suppose you could always play the one in Train Sim World 2. The scenarios will be different. These are the scenarios for Train Simulator. I'm sure they can be recreated on Train Sim World 2 as well, as long as you have locomotives that you can sub in for these. I don't know if these same locomotives are on that route or not. I believe the 33 is, but I'm not sure what steam. I don't think a steam locomotive comes on that route. So you can always do the scenarios with diesel locomotives if you want to create them instead. Use the 33. You can put some other train in if you want to. Or you can wait for the steam pack to come with the Liverpool to Crew, and then you can put that train on the preserved railway to act like it's a preserved train as well. So there's always that option as well. I don't remember which train actually is coming on that version of the route from the Liverpool to Crew. Now that's Train Sim World 2. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about Train Simulator today. I will be playing Train Sim World 2 on this channel, but as of now, I do not have the West Somerset Railway route on that game. I mainly concentrated on routes that I don't have or that might look starkly different from how they're designed in Train Simulator. And I omitted a couple like Sherman Hill and for now the Elkhorn route. There's no reason for me to get those yet because I still have to do Elkhorn. And I have a lot of stuff to do on Sherman Hill on this one. Plus there's stuff missing on Sherman Hill in that version. That is not on the current versions. There's a whistle board. So I'm lowering the regulator a little bit. Now, actually, you know what? Never mind. It's too early to lower the regulator. We're still 4/10 of a mile away from the sign. We're going to lower the regulator as we get to the station, which is only 1/10 of a mile behind the 20 sign. We're still aiming to be right on time. And the train is lowering slightly in speed anyway, so that actually is going to help me judge even better the timing. I'm going to lower the regulator a little bit more now. As you can see, stations, we have a lower speed coming in. And then as we get into the area after the station, we go back to the preserved railway speed of 25 miles per hour. So I'm trying to maintain enough speed to still come to a stop. I'm still judging this. I've not actually done a stop in this train yet. So I am judging for myself what the proper stop speed is. I'm going to apply brakes as we get to 1/10 of a mile out, and I'm going to see if that does the job. Actually, I'm lowering speed now, so there's no reason to apply the brakes yet. Gonna actually regulate our way in a little bit more. I kind of want to come in at 15 miles per hour, so let's hit the brakes now. And that will do for now. Let's take the brakes off for a moment, because I actually realize the brakes are really strong. And we can apply them very much heavily within the station. So we'll do that instead on future stops. For right now, we'll get as far as we can, and then we'll stop. I'm still inching forward a little bit more because I want to get more of the train in. I have the time to do so. I'm not going to get the whole train in unless I put the engine beyond. I don't have time to do that right now. So we're going to say this is good enough. If the brakes will kick in, please. And open the doors as soon as I can. Arrival at our first stop, Crowcombe Heathfield main platform. So back in the cab, I want you to notice a weird bug here. Notice that little glitch there. What happens with that? For some reason, this scenario seems to push you back into the train. I tried to get a camera shot of the train leaving. I went actually out to the platform right here. I got down to the platform and I went to get a camera shot. So as I went to get that camera shot, what ended up happening is the game all of a sudden put me to a regular number 2 view, and I couldn't get that camera shot anymore without having to line the camera up again. And basically, I have to accept the fact that this train, or the scenario, or the route, I don't know, seems to like to bug you back into the train for some reason. I assume it's a scenario problem. Could be a problem with the train itself. I'm not 100% sure. But needless to say, I'm not very happy about that. So I'm just going to have to accept the fact that this scenario is going to have some weird graphical glitches that you're going to have to deal with. And, hopefully they don't show up in future scenarios. We'll find out as this route goes along. Nonetheless, I do have an improved version of the West Somerset Railway. I don't think this scenario would work on that route, so I'm not going to try it on that route. Plus, it's career, and I don't want to play career on that route anyway. I'm only doing it on this main version of the route. So I will be bringing out the improved version of the route in the future. There's actually a Diesel Gala series, and I actually took a look at the West Somerset Railway website. And I found out they have another Diesel Gala going on this summer, when with COVID now finally starting to get into the thing where everything's opening up again, hopefully. We're going to have a Diesel Gala there this summer. And I'd like to see if I can get information on that Diesel Gala so I can set up scenarios. And this includes where trains are located on the track at any particular point in time. So I kind of want to try and get that some of that information and try to recreate some of that for you. I'm going to use the Diesel Gala scenario pack I have for the time being. I'm going to ignore the fact that some of the trains may not be introduced yet. And I'm going to just try to get all the trains in the Diesel Gala shown off. So that'll be a little special series, whether it be the pack that I found online or whether it be a pack I create myself. I want to try and get, or even someone else who can help me make that pack, who's able to actually look and get more information about it. He might know more about the route. So, however I do it, I want to see if I can get you something reminiscent of this year's Diesel Gala and try and get you all the trains I can from that. Some of them might not exist, and in that case I'll have to accept it, but I want to see what I can get you here. We're going to make our way to our next stop at Stogumber. I should have mentioned that back in the station. I was too busy looking at the buggy train glitching that happens inside the cab, so I was too busy with that to tell you that our next stop, Stogumber. We need to be there in about, 5 minutes. Oh, break. Wow. Okay, that was close. You may also notice I got a timing this penalty. I'm not going to fight and fuss with these scenarios because this type of scenario, steam engine scenario, I'm not going to be that good at. Like, just accept it. I'm not going to get 1,000 points in every steam engine scenario. Let's just accept that right now. Unless there is a loose timetable and there's about a minute or two leeway, I'm not going to fight to get these timings absolutely perfect in this type of train. It is not worth the hassle. So if we're a few points short, we're a few points short. This is not a prove you can do 1,000 series. This is a prove it can be done somewhat reasonably series. And that's what we're going to try and do. This is downhill all the way to Stogumber. I kind of wish we could go above 25 right now only for that reason, but we're not allowed to, so we're going to have to live with it. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on this modified haul, 6960. We are taking this to, did I say it was Williton? Let's check that. Williton, yes. We seem to have hit a steady break at this point, so I'm waiting for the train to go back up to speed. Here we go. Gonna hit the brakes again. We didn't whistle, so let's hit the whistle. Now I'm going to try my best to avoid wheel slip coming into these stations because it's kind of difficult to avoid doing that with no sander. You're literally on your own in terms of the adhesion of the rails of the wheels to the railway. You're on your own with the adhesion, so you can't do anything to put sand down or anything like that, as far as I'm aware with this type of train. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So I'm going to go ahead and just do what I can with this. So my goal is to come to a stop at a good enough pace that I don't have to worry about the wheels slipping and I can just come to a nice, gentle stop. That's one sloppy thing I don't want to show you, wheel slip. I don't want to show you wheel slip. I think the best way to avoid showing you wheel slip is to avoid the brake pressure getting too low so that the wheels are basically at a fast speed or causing more problems. If I can manage the brakes in a butter zone where the inches of pressure on the brakes are at a certain level, then I should be able to get a much better stop out of it. So for example, right now I'm already starting to lower the train down to 20 because I know we're going to have to stop for the station up ahead, Stogumber. Like I said, I'm going to try and do it safely, not with wheel slip and other penalties. In fact, I probably did not need to go down 25 yet. I could have gone a little further at that speed. So that's on me. Our ETA is actually increasing now because of that. It actually will until we actually make the stop, I think. So as you can see, this timetable is way too tight. I don't think it can be done to this kind of specification. Maybe in real life it can, but this is a simulation, and they can get away with speeding a mile in real life possibly if they're lucky. Plus, they're much better drivers. Maybe they can't get away with speeding, but they are much better drivers than I am of a steam train. So let's keep that in mind as well. I'm going to start braking right now because that is absolutely needed now. Gonna try to hold the pressure here without having any wheel slip. That's an improvement. Good, good, good. Let's come in. The platform, by the way, is over here. I'm going to just bring the train in. Again, I don't care to what extent we stop as long as we stop. There's some passengers. I want the train to stop now, please. That'll do. Open the doors. We have arrived at Stogumber. Williton up platform. Our next stop, or I should try that again. Leaving Stogumber, our next stop is Williton up platform. You may be noticing as well that I did not have any kind of a glitch on the train that time. So it looks like it was isolated to the station in question, which I find really peculiar. In any case, I'm not sure what caused that in the other station, but we'll accept that it happened and we'll move on. So I'm letting the train ease up gently in speed. I did put the reverser up to full for the time being to allow maximum steam, but because I'm on a downhill, I'm actually just going to lower that right now. I don't see a reason to have it up there. So our arrival time is 11 o'clock even. I have a feeling we are going to be late for this one. No way to get around that one. I'm going to concentrate on getting our brakes into a cycle for this, and then I'm going to start going into more details about the design specifications of this train, because you know, some nerdy type people are interested in this type of information. There are train nerds out there, just like there are other types of nerds like me out there. So let's make sure we got our brake pattern. We do. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the design elements. The cylinders in this train are 18 times 30 inches. There's two of them. We have a driving wheel diameter of 6 feet. Exactly 6 feet. I'm watching our speed as we go, by the way. The bogie wheel diameter is 3 feet, and 3 feet 0 inches. When I don't say inches, it's just 3 feet. Track effort is 27,275 pounds. The boiler type is a number 1 with the boiler maximum diameter of 5 feet 6 inches, a boiler minimum diameter of 4 feet 10 and 13/16 inches. That is very specific. Do you not agree? Yes, I know it is. Thank you. So we're going to continue around our turn here. I'm going to try and give you some better views as we go here. The fire tubes number in diameter 176 times 2 inches, and the flue tubes are 14 times 5 and 1/8 inches. Superheater tubes 84 times 1 inch. Boiler pressure is 225 pounds per square inch. The length of the boiler is 14 feet and 10 inches. There we go. The area of the fire grate is 27.07 square feet. The heating surfaces are in tubes are 1,686.6 feet. The 0.6 seems relevant at this point. Heating surfaces for the firebox 154.78 square feet. And heating surfaces under the superheater are 262.62 square feet. So there's some nerdy details. In case you want to embarrass your friends for the type of trivia you know, there you go. You now know this trivia. Good luck bringing it up on a test. Next Monday. So continuing on our way to Williton up platform, that is our final stop for today. And as you can see, there's not really any signals on this route, because once you're in the section, there's not really any reason to have any signals for another train. It's only for each station that you're really going to be signaled. So I guess Heritage Railways are easy to signal from that aspect. By the way, even though this is a fairly lengthy Heritage Railway, all the people who work on the railway are volunteers. There's very, very few paid people on the railway. I mean, the money for it has to go somewhere, right? Probably to restoring the railway. But it is basically run by volunteers. I'm going to speed here, aren't I? Whoa! I almost sped. We are on a 1 in 100 gradient. It almost got me, but I got to it just in time. So yeah, the railway is ran by volunteers. You're going to be able to ensure that you have a good experience every time you go, because these people are just doing it for enjoyment. They want to see this railway survive and thrive. And who knows, maybe someday it'll be used by BR again, but not very likely. I don't see them wanting to ever come back here, only because a bit of an out-of-the-way area. It's a shame, because it would be nice if a regular branch came up here again. But at the same time, I'm sure they want to maintain, the people here want to maintain the scenic element of the scenic railway and not have to worry about, you know, trains going through all the time. Just a few trains under the heritage specialty situation, that's it. Brakes did not want to apply. They're not going quite up as quickly as I want them to. That's the second time I hit 25.9, so I need to maintain my braking a little bit better here. I was actually holding the brake for quite a bit there without realizing it. I'm going to try and control the speed as it goes back up so I can keep it within a certain speed area here. I haven't really had too much fluctuation on my ETA. It's going down again now, but I've not had a lot of fluctuation on my ETA. So if I can keep the speed within this 25 area somewhere, then I might be able to, there we go. Brakes are not going on as quick as I wanted. I'm a little upset about that. You gotta love the scenery along this route too. I mean, yes, it's a bit dated because it's a little bit of an older route. Not quite Kuju days, but still, it is nice for what it is. It looks really nice. So I actually would be interested in watching videos. I might watch a video on the TSW2 version and see what that version of the route looks like. Because even though I'm not buying that version of the route, not now anyway, I am still curious. I should get that version because it's all diesel right now. I really should get it. But I'm just going to wait for the price drop on it. I don't think it's worth $33.99, which is what it would be in Canadian dollars. So I'm going to wait for a little bit here. There's Williton coming up, so I am going to keep an eye on the fact we have a 15 speed limit as we enter Williton. So I'm trying to make sure we keep our speed under 25 at this time. You saw we had a signal down there, so we are good to proceed, I believe, into the station. Our ETA is starting to go up again, but we'll deal with that. Okay, since we have a 15 before Williton, I'm going to actually start lowering my speed for that a little bit. Just a little bit. I can actually lower the regulator. I should do that. That might be the problem I was having. I had the regulator on. No wonder the speed was fluctuating so much. That makes more sense now. The fact I've only lost 14 points so far is actually pretty good. I expected to do a lot worse on this scenario because I'm not a Steam expert. And I don't profess to be. But having driven the diesel first, it actually gives me a little more knowledge on how to control the brakes and things like that. So it actually helps you when you actually come to the Steam scenarios to have that kind of control on downhills and uphills. Now uphills are a little harder in Steam because you have to move the regulator and the flow around to try to keep speed up the hill. But for braking at least, you know how the braking works already. There's not much to think about. So yeah, that's actually not something I'm upset about. I like that. Okay, let's get these brakes on a little more below 16 now. I want to make sure they stay below 16. So here we go. Are we taking the left or the right platform? Probably the left because this is the correct way that we should be going. That car is actually stopping at the track. Thank you, sir. Oh, we're going on that platform. There we go. Let's stop right now, please. Let's do the stop right now and I'll be very happy. I'll be very accepting of this performance if I can get the stop in. Let's get a little further if I can. You know what? Let's just stop here and open the doors. We got a couple trains in. That's good. So we are down our service. Not perfectly, but we're arriving at Williton up platform. Let's take a look at the train. So you managed to drive another steam engine without breaking it. Yay. So that was the GWR Hall. We are going to see this train one more time on the West Somerset Railway, but we're going to move on next scenario to the 7F. And then we're going to get into familiar territory with the Class 33 diesel. So we're going to get a look at each of the traction on this route. And we're going to see if I can drive the other steam engine, the 7F, next time. That's going to be interesting. We've arrived at Williton. Well done. Let's see you turn your hand to some of the other available duties. Roger. So let's take a look at this. So we got penalized on the first stop. I wonder if that could have been done perfectly. I'm not 100% sure if that can be done perfectly or not. Because I made the stop at the time. Well, I thought it was earlier than 10:42:45, but apparently that was when it was. And even though I was within the same minute, I was still marked 14 seconds late. So, what can you do? You still get a gold star because it's not marked at 1,000 points this time. I think it's marked at 900. So, the gold star will still appear on the menu. We'll act like it was a perfect scenario because I don't think I could have done that first stop much better. I tried it 3 times, and it didn't really get any better any of those 3 times. So, I think that first stop might have been a little mistimed. Even if it is a real timetable, I don't know if it was possible. I also might have started a little late. I don't know. I might have started just a little bit late each time because I was trying to get things set up and not miss the first and not lose credit for the first stop. So that might be part of it too. But in any case, the scenario's done. That actually wasn't too bad. I expected it to be worse. It wasn't too bad. And next time we're going to go to a 7F scenario. So I'll see you next time for that. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that usual stuff. You can support on Patreon, join the Discord server. I'll see you next time for more West Somerset Railway here on Let's Play Train Simulator. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you, you're part of the world. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.